eyes can read. I am Bryce, and today we won't be reading, but we will be looking at some stuff, specifically some minifigures, some terrain, and mostly actual characters for my upcoming Dungeons and Dragons campaign that I will be DMing, as in the Dungeon Master. For those unacquainted, it means I'm basically the Nerd Lord and will be the sort of creator of a world. Let's start with this terrain I have. This is, for those Lord of the Rings fans out there, the little fort kind of thing, outpost, Amen from the Fellowship of the Ring. You can see you got the stairway, the little outpost looking thing, and it's going to be a fun little piece. I'm just going to set that there so I can have some minis to set on it later. So far I also have this really neat altar thing. Kind of like a ritual altar that'll be used. These are all going to be, I don't have terrain for every single encounter ever. These are basically just going to be used for boss encounters. I also have some graveyard look in action. But anyway, that is just the terrain for now. Let me get you introduced to some of the characters we will be having. Alright, we got these are all very eclectic, you'll notice. Some are from the Zombicide board game, like this guy. Some are from Call of Cthulhu Death May Die. Some are from Mansions of Madness. Some are from Arkham Horror and Descent. Oh gosh, it's hard to get these out of the bag, and I know my bag crackling companion out there will not appreciate these. But oh well, what do we care about bag crackling? I care more about tapping on these minifigures. The last time I did a minifigure video, I didn't do a whole lot of taps on them, so I really want to make sure to get my taps in on this video. Also, I hope the bag crinkling is kind of okay for you. Here are just some NPC characters I will be having. This is actually going to be the final boss, main villain guy who's in disguise. Doesn't reveal himself to the very end. Yes, this is a Star Wars minifigure. This is Dengar from the Star Wars minigame. And I'm actually going to have like this weird sniper character, kind of like, not like futuristic sniper character, but kind of like if you've ever played the game Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. It's very much like swords and magic-y kind of game, but at the same time, the final boss there also has like a flintlock pistol, Ishin the Clock Saint. If you know what I'm talking about, and I really hope you do. Anyway, I just cut out because digging through all of these bags and whatnot is actually thoroughly loud. But if I didn't cut too quick enough, just want to let you know that some of those random monsters there were from these ladder match arena missions I plan on doing. Might has some repeats as well, but those two unique ones will be fun. And yes, doth your nugs bequeath you. This is a man, bear, pig miniature right there. That'll be very fun. These are all going to be coming from one of the dungeons, and it will be a sort of kind of like how Chicago and Seattle and a lot of major American cities are sinking and actually built upon other cities. Not other cities, but, other buildings essentially. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. These guys, these guys will be in a dungeon that is like, old town. A town built underneath, or a town. God, how do I even phrase this right? There's a new town above it, but the new town is the same as the old town. It's just new. I don't know. I'm sure you haven't got this far anyway, but look at these weird little slug monster things I have. I have repeats of a few of these as well, but I'm not, gonna go and tap on each individual, monster I have. But check some of this stuff out. Some of this stuff is just crazy, isn't it? I think so, at least. Then again, what do I know? Got spider monster thing from Descent. We got little wolf thingies, zombie wolves from Zombicide, but the medieval Zombicide. I'm gonna have all the little wolves as part of a actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf mini boss fight. This is also from Zombicide. I don't know if I mentioned, but the man bear pig will be the final boss of this dungeon. Shia LaBeouf will just be the mini boss there. I have him in the graveyard too. Then I have, just some rats and some spiders. Pretty generic monster things. And then I have this thrall from Mansions of Madness. Something I want to do is kind of like, if you've ever played the Persona video games, shout out to my Persona video. Not the same Persona, obviously, but you always have options to talk with the enemies you find and bargain with them. I want her to be like a bargaining enemy that you can, if you heal her and help her out, she gets her thrall thing cured and she doesn't attack you. Or this thing, obviously it's a giant stalk. It doesn't actually attack you unless you attack it, and it can't move. And then these, I call them like the predator raptor looking things. These things only attack if you attack this thing, and these are just wandering around the dungeon. And every time the players move, these guys move a room too. And it's just kind of a battle of who can find who and whatnot, but we'll see what happens when I finally get to this dungeon. Alright, so coming up next, we have our bag of just sort of random encounter. Well, not random, but not necessarily set in a dungeon encounters. This will be the very first creature they fight, and this will sort of slither out of the woods as they're heading to town. And I want to introduce a morality concept with this, where after they beat it, they can either kill it or let it go. And, if they let it go, then potentially it has a chance to help them out during a final fight, or even interact with them as it goes back to the woods later on. This thing is called a Ligor. I don't know. Who knows, man? H.P. Lovecraft was having a day. And this will be in a side mission where they're investigating a salt mine where, all these enslaved people are working, and there's this monster. in the mind killing people off, and you have to sort of vanquish it, obviously, and help the miners out. Also, ideally, free the miners while you're there, but it's all up to the players. And this is like a basilisk. It is a basilisk, yes. And there will be one side mission where there's this old crazy man who, is convinced that there's a sea monster out there, and you can go on in with his journey to hunt the sea monster. And of course, all the villagers don't believe him, but lo and behold, if you do journey with him, you will be fighting this monstrosity right here. And for our next actual dungeon, we have, I grabbed the wrong ones, isn't that funny? We have our first, well, not first, but all the bosses I have are going to be unique in their mechanics. So this is going to be a double boss where they gotta fight, yes, characters from Gloomhaven. But we have a little black elemental guy and a little white elemental guy. I wish my camera was decent enough to be able to focus on them. And they are going to summon the gold elemental guy if they're allowed too long in the fight. Basically, it's kind of like a timed fight, and the longer you go, the harder it gets. We have these little, kind of like the Pokemon Scyther. You know what I'm talking about? They have these crazy razor sword blade arm things. There'll be a few encounters as well. I'm looking forward to them. Then we got this demon lord looking guy. We got a few of them. Let me see if I can. Alright, one is stuck intermingled with another miniature, so we'll leave him be. But these will be little demon lord guys, and I'll have them. I hope this doesn't just look ridiculous as I'm, bashing my fingers against them. But they'll kind of be like another interactable fight where you can talk with them and try to convince them that they shouldn't fight you. Then, of course, what D&D campaign would be complete without your skeleton warriors? I'm going to make these skeleton warriors a mini-boss fight where not only do you fight these guys, you're going to fight the skeleton warrior, captain, the boss, the mini-boss, the little skeleton warrior monstrosity. And I think that'll be a good mini-boss fight as well. This will be a tomb sort of boss fight, or dungeon, this will be like my most standard D&D dungeon. A lot of the other ones, a little more inventive, at least I like to think, but I want to start at least with something kind of familiar, Now here's one I'm really excited about, because this one is actually going to be using this specific piece of terrain. I kind of want it to be like a tower defense thing, where all these zombies, this horde of toxic zombies from Zombicide, are raiding you on this little platform, and you have to defend it and whatnot, and they come in waves. And then, of course, after all the waves, after all these waves of guys have been killed off, they're going to have the boss of that area. And who's the boss of the area gonna be? But this guy, this little Ewok that barely makes a tapping sound from the Star Wars minifigure game. But the catch is that halfway through the Ewok fight, because this is going to be a boss phase, a 3-phase boss battle, halfway through the Ewok fight, he is going to, convulse and scream and freak out, and he's going to transform into Mr. Werewolf Man right here. And Mr. Werewolf Man will be super fast and super strong, and he's going to every round. It's going to be hype, going to be unpredictable, going to be hopefully not punishingly hard, but he will die, right? And everyone will have this big old sense of accomplishment, a big old sense of achievement. And then little stalks of weirdness and craziness will start to sprout out from his dead body, and the Dunwich Horror will spawn. Yes, the Dunwich Horror itself, with the weird little face and the mouths coming all around it. All the stalks, and the stalks are going to shoot laser beams, and it's going to trample you and try to eat you, and I think it's going to be a whole mess of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It is, a bit too big to come up the stairs, but I think it'll just be able to hop on top itself like that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now for this section we have, what's this? A lot of Wookiees. What could they be used for? Well, how I mentioned earlier that there were different villages and different towns and whatnot. The main point of the campaign is that it's going to be a war between the humans and the dog people. The dog people obviously being played by Wookiees, with the top dog himself, big ol' X-Man, and his little dog buddy. And they are going to be like the impoverished, downtrodden slaves trying to rebel. And you can either side with the dog rebellion people, or you can side with the human authority people, which will be, and yes, is that Boromir from Lord of the Rings? It certainly is. And I don't actually have a lot of, the thing is, I don't have a lot of either Gondorian people or Rohan heroes, but I had a lot of Rohan people and Gondorian heroes. So yes, all his supporters are Rohirrim guards, and he is going to be the mayor of the city, and he is going to have all these little guys supporting him, and you can kind of side with either group. Join the rebellion, you can squash the rebellion. Neither side is necessarily really good or bad, because that wizard-looking guy from the first bag I opened, how I said he's like the actual main guy. Well, he will be disguised as a halfling, and he's actually playing both sides against each other because he's the arms dealer. He's like the merchant who's making money off of this thing. He's the Dick Cheney to our. Never mind. Anyway, he is the secret villain and will only reveal himself and show his true form if the companions can spot him. So, yeah, don't spoil this for my players. Thankfully, they don't know I make these videos. Alright, now the last bag of minis. Well, I am actually using a lot of my Bloodborne minis for this game, but you've already seen the Bloodborne video link somewhere to the side. The last group will be using this little weird hell-like altar thing, because the last dungeon will sort of be in this hell-like place that wizard sorcerer guy has created, to try to trap the heroes in. And this will be the final boss for that. This is from the Zombicide Old West game, one of the abominations there. Very frightening indeed. I would have a mini boss to show you, but I actually want the mini boss of this dungeon to be the characters themselves. I want them to fight their own dark pasts, their own backstories, or even evil versions of themselves. I want to have a lot of crazy psychological horror stuff. And kind of like this suction cup monster. And I will do a full video on my D&D campaign, but it's going to be, coming out in like a year or two because I want to play through the entire thing with them and, kind of film the changes and the actions and the choices and all that fun stuff. So it's gonna be a while because if anyone out there has, played Dungeons and Dragons, you know that the true hardest monster to fight in Dungeons and Dragons is the schedule. Schedules are rough. What's also rough are all these Cthulhu Death May Die, Gargoyle, Imp, Flying Bat monsters, which I will just gently lay along my terrain. Okay, and that, that's really all of them that I have. I hope this video wasn't too quick, I suppose. I'm really experimenting with, what people like, what they don't like. I really am trying to tap more here. If I'm just a big pushover, please let me know. If you like this video, leave a like and, oh no, what have I done? I'm a monster. Oh god, no. Oh no. I'm evil. I'll just lay him there. Anyway, worst DM ever. If you like this video, leave a like. If you don't like this video, please leave a dislike and comment what I can do better. Otherwise, that really is all I got. My name is Emprice. This is Emprice Can Read. This is me trying to do a quick ASMR video before I have to go to work. You know how it is. I just wanted to make something that wasn't an eating video, and I just worked really hard in my short movie I made and my essay I made. It took a lot of effort, and I just wanted, a pretty simple video, just a simple tapping video. Disregardless, I am Emprice. I can indeed read. In this case, I can look and tap on minifigures. And as you know, Dog City never sleeps. I hope that you may sleep. Now, I'm pointing at you.